Hello, beautiful friends. Thank you for being here. I just wanted to tune in with some quick reminders that I feel like will be helpful because they're helpful for me. Is one is just remembering how loved you are, how important you are, what a miracle you are. Remember to give yourself credit because what you're doing is really, really powerful, and it's not for the faint of heart. Being incarnated right now as a human being, especially being one of the first ones to go down this conscious path of evolution, even though everyone is experiencing it in one way or another, for those who are brave enough to really be committed and devoted to the truth, no matter how crazy it gets sometimes, just want to take a moment to truly honor you. I honor you, honor yourself. I have to remind myself this daily because it can be really easy for like thoughts and programs to creep in and make you feel like it's not enough, and it is enough. Your presence is more than you probably even can imagine, more than any of us can imagine. I really truly feel that if when we tune in and we see ourselves from the higher perspective, we have such reverence for ourselves and what we're doing here. I know sometimes it's like, why is this not working? But just a reminder that if you're feeling that frustration, it's kind of funny. It's kind of a paradox because a lot of times when we think we're making mistakes or that we're not doing good enough or that we should be doing something differently, a lot of those types of feelings because we're learning to release control because we really don't have control. There's a higher aspect of ourselves, God, that has a plan for us, each and every one of us. When we came in here, we had a plan of what we wanted to do and experience. And not only that, but we also have free will now. So whatever we're trying to create, manifest, how we want to serve, how we want to show up in the world, all these types of things, we are co-creating with very high aspects of ourselves, basically. And so that's why it's so important to remember to release that control and trust what's arising, whatever it is. Being able to surrender to yourself, to God within you, because that's truly these higher aspects of ourselves they can see and gather a lot more than we can understand, than we can. So just a reminder that there is a plan for you. And why is it so hard sometimes? Well, many of us, if not all of us, really, we're doing something that's never been done before, and we're going to continue to create things, whatever it may be, create things with our lives that have never been done before. So again, we are pioneers. There's nothing to compare it to. It's good, I think, to be inspired by great things of the past. But it's pretty incredible when we see that, we're really in uncharted territory, and the things that we're bringing into this world are honestly so next level, it's never been done before. And so your journey, your path to getting there is most likely not going to look like anything that's ever happened before. It's especially not going to look like anyone else's. Again, it's so good to be inspired by others and learning from others, but really everything we need is already inside of us. We all have our own unique blueprint, and yet we're all connected as one, but we all have our unique blueprint and our unique connection to God that's not going to look the same for anyone else. So just remember that, because I've been experiencing that time and time again. And I know that, as many of us do, that's why it's a reminder. I know in my heart that, everything about my experience is so much better when I'm in surrender to myself, surrender to God. Obviously, that's what I mean when I say surrender. Everything flows, and I know that, and I've experienced that countless times, and yet it's so easy, when that anxiety comes up, or when that fear comes up, or when those thoughts that are getting so loud, because everything is getting louder and vibrant and more intense as we're awakening. It's really easy to slip into those thoughts. And there's nothing wrong with that either, because if you're being triggered by certain thoughts, oh, I'm not good enough, this isn't happening how it's supposed to be, I need to fix this. If those thoughts are still triggering you, then it means that there is still, it's all divine. Like there is all like a divine order to it. It means that there's still something there for you to work on, and it feels like that thought might be blocking you from your purpose. But I just want to invite you to think about, what if that actually is your purpose? Is to everything you're doing naturally just by existing, to have these types of thoughts and being able to sort them out and feel them and transmute them, that is enough. That alone is enough. Because think about our ancestors and those, all of humanity that were not able to feel what we are now feeling. It's a gift, and your burdens are often your greatest blessings when we're able to see it like that. I know it's hard when you're in the middle of it. And again, it's totally normal. That's another thing I just want to say is like, I want to share this stuff because I don't want people to feel alone. Because when you're in it, it can feel like you're the only one. It can feel very lonely. You can feel like you're going crazy. But you're certainly not alone. There's many of us feeling this in our own way. A really good analogy I heard recently is and it's true. I mean, it's like what this is. This is evolution in human consciousness. And it's very physical. We're feeling it in our bodies. So it's like even our like cellular memory and things that we hold in our body, whether it's from this life or from our lineage or from whatever, it's like we're literally shifting these old patterns of fear, of anxiety, of unworthiness. And that work can be so intense, sometimes even feels brutal to really, because it's like as you're on your path, that's how it unfolds. It unfolds as these lessons, it unfolds as these happenings, it unfolds as these feelings and these thoughts. And I guess what I'm really just trying to really hammer in here is that it's all part of it. It's all part of it. It's not separate from your awakening. It is your awakening. And it's so funny sometimes because it's very easy in our minds to think that something's wrong with us. It's not that there's something wrong with you. I think that is like the worst program that we have to kind of really be vigilant of in the mind control. So much of it's in the mind. That's why it's so important to anchor into your body, anchor into your heart, and let your spirit guide you, and let your mind be a tool. But don't let your mind suck you, again, it's all for a reason. No, don't beat yourself up, because it's all part of the learning experience and the evolutionary experience, even though I know it's uncomfortable. But just because you're uncomfortable, that's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It's literally part of the evolution, is what I've found. And the less you try to judge yourself over it and change it, and just have all this resistance towards it, the more you just flow with it and just embrace who you are holistically, all that you are, and trust your higher self, trust God, trust the plan, trust your higher self's plan, God's plan, however you see it, however you want to call it. There is most certainly a plan for you. And it doesn't unfold how we think it's supposed to unfold a lot of times. But it unfolds for truly the greatest and highest good, especially if you set that intention for yourself every day. That's enough. Set those intentions and they shall be. It's just you don't know how it's going to flow to you. You don't know what do you have to learn? What do you have to release? And during those parts of the process, again, it can be so intense, but just know that it really is part of this evolutionary process. It's very intense. I mean, again, think about all that humanity has been through, because it really is more light coming into this reality, more light coming into our bodies, into everything. This is what I was going to say before. It's a really good analogy that it's like being in a dingy, dark room, and the light is slowly being turned on. So you're starting to see everything really clearly and deeply, more than ever before, continuously. So, part of that is like, personally and collectively, it's like seeing what you've been in, your programs, starting to see them with like microscopic precision sometimes, again and again and again. It's just part of it. And in the collective, seeing the way we've been so programmed into this box, all of us, every single one of us, it's crazy. It's very humbling to see how much we've been so programmed in our minds into this whole facade of reality. And now the light is coming on, so we're seeing it, and it's like, oh my God, what? Sometimes. And it's the whole spectrum. And this is the last thing I'll say here. It's the whole spectrum. And this is why I think art is such an important outlet for everyone. Maybe it's just because I'm an artist, but it's like, it's such an important thing, not only for healing and clearing and transmuting, but also for expressing yourself as you are now without constantly trying to change it or fix it, like waiting until you're like this perfect human. You know, celebrate your humanness now on the journey, because it's never going to be perfect. It's always going to be shifting and evolving and growing, always expanding, always, always, always. So again, it's just part of that. I think learning to enjoy the process, even in the midst, you know, even if you don't like what's going on, even if you don't have to like what you're in, but it's like, it is what it is. You know, it's like you're shifting your human consciousness. And always when you have a breakdown, the breakthrough is even greater, always. So the thing about being able to make art, it's like, it's this thing of being able to express all of it. It's being able to, you know, when you have that fear or those anxieties or those angers or that trauma coming up, being able to have some kind of like outlet where you can express it as it is. Because again, to feeling it, even just feeling it and expressing it in a safe way is enough. Our ancestors did not have this privilege to feel it. It doesn't feel like a privilege all the time. Sometimes it feels like a curse, but they didn't have this. They weren't able to do this, and now we are, and it's a gift, even though it's really, really intense. It's our consciousness shifting, so we're becoming more sensitive to everything. Things that used to be like, we didn't even notice, now they're like, whoa, when did that happen? It's like, oh yeah, that's been there. This whole time I just couldn't see it because the lights are coming on. It's so crazy. It's giving me goosebumps. It really is so intense sometimes. And that's what I'm trying to say, though. This is the last thing I'm really trying to say, because I really don't want people to feel alone or like something's wrong with them, because there's nothing wrong with you for what you're going through right now. It actually, this is the whole point. It is why we're here. The whole thing of what we're experiencing. Every single barrier we're breaking, every single pattern we're shifting. It is it. It is it. This is the whole thing. This is actually the core of everything within us. You know, it's not about what is out there. It's about what we're doing in here, creating. And as we do that, that's when that's how we shift humanity in the collective. And it's so important too that this is a natural process, and it's happening naturally. You know, you don't have to control it. It's naturally happening. And as creator beings, we do get to set intentions and create and co-create with God, with the universe, with our higher selves, with the whole squad. Really, it's really what it is. It is true when you create as a creator being, everything basically conspires to help you create that. But again, it doesn't always happen how you think it's going to happen. So it is really very much a communion of within you, of these higher dimensional aspects of yourself that see more, know more, can go beyond time and space to assemble whatever you need, literally. And so they have like a way higher, I don't know what to say, like reach than we do. So we can't even see it or understand it all the time. That's so important why we have to trust it. But we are also creating with that, and we are that. It's just a different operating system, basically, because it's like we're not controlling it. And it's like the more we try to control it, the more we start to kind of be in this feedback loop of like resistance. Again, which is fine, because if you're feeling that, you're still learning. You know, it's like being present. You know, it's like, you know, people might not always be present. They might be off in their minds, but they're still here. You know, it's nice when you can be fully present here. But this is all I'm trying to say is like you couldn't not be doing what you're doing, what you came here to do. You couldn't not be doing it even if you like try, because you're here. So just give yourself some credit and some slack and some love. Remember, you are a miracle. The whole spectrum of it, everything, I think in this ascension, it's like we just get to experience so much. And the more I live it, the more I really, again, maybe this is just the artistic side of me, want to just really honor all of it, really honor all of it, the nitty and the gritty, the strife, the pain, and the joy, and the pleasure, and the bliss, because it's all here right now. Crazy. And just continuing to come back into the heart and into the body. When you get lost in the mind, that's actually when I think we suffer the most. This is a very physical evolution, so that's why you hear people talk about embodiment a lot. Bringing this genius in your mind out there, being able to anchor it in here. Your body is so intelligent. Your body, when you're in your body, you're in your heart, you're connected to the flow. Sometimes if you're too in your mind, you can get really out of the flow, and you can kind of go into like these abstract realms of anything, because the mind is infinite. We're starting to feel like these quantum energies, the quantum field of infinite possibilities that's all around us. This is how I feel, at least. Starting to actually perceive it more and more, a little bit more and more every day, a little bit more. And it's a lot. Again, it's like the lights coming on. It's like, holy shit, what? We've been in a box. We've been just super limited with these beliefs and these programs and these ideas. And then when you start perceiving beyond it, it's like, oh, wow. It's very humbling. And it's so beautiful. It really is. But it can be a lot for the body. It can be a lot for the nervous system, which is why it's so courageous just to be here and be going through this process. So I have so much infinite love for all of you, all of us. Honor to all of you. I think it's so important for these reminders, again, reminding that we are enough, we are doing enough again and again and again. You're not crazy. It's literally an evolutionary shift. As long as you stay grounded enough in your body and stay present enough in your body, you're going to be anchored in, even if you're having these very intense experiences of, the higher consciousness starting to activate within you. It's starting to see more, starting to feel more, starting to just be able to perceive more. I don't know how else to say it. It's just very holistic in every aspect of life. And it's going to be happening, from what I see and understand, this is going to be going on indefinitely for a long time, Whatever that means to you. What even is a long time? I don't know. Time isn't even real. But you can still always tune into heaven on earth. But I don't know. I think it's important just to be honest and realize, like, this process of what we're doing and having such honor and reverence for it, instead of like the old programmed mind controlled way of like trying to evade it and like judge it and like resist what is. I hope this is helpful. I hope this makes sense. Again, so much love to all of you, and I hope you have an amazing day. And see you next time.